Good evening. Welcome to City Limits. My name is Norm McCourt, your host of City Limits, the show that provides you with information about the people, places, and events that shape the character of our community. Joining me tonight is the Honorable Pat Dolan, County Councilman, District 5. Welcome, Pat. Welcome
Thank you,
back.
Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Yeah, it's nice to have you back.
Appreciate
Well, let's
it.
start out. A lot of people don't know how the county council districts are broken up, so kind of describe where your district is and maybe some of the cities or municipalities that are in it.
Sure. There's 7 council districts for all of St. Louis County. I represent the 5th council district, which basically, and there's a few roads in between, but basically it's from Olive Street Road on the north, it's Olive and Warson, and goes all the way down to Gravois Road on the south at Sappington and Gravois. So basically it goes down Warson Road, which turns into Woodlawn and cuts through Kirkwood into, cuts over right at 44 in Big Bend to Sappington and down all the way to Gravois, and from there to the city limits. So it's basically what's called a mid-county district, as I said, there's 7 districts, so the 3rd district is immediately west of me, 1st district is just north, and 6th district is south of Gravois. So.
Quite a big district, and it's actually, when you say mid-county, it's actually a little bit more south than mid.
Well, right, yeah, mid-South County, from, of Olivet and U City on the north, and then down on the south, you have Crestwood and Afton and Grantwood Village. So that's all right on the south border, so everything in between. So they're big districts, and after the last census and redistricting that was done, all the districts are actually less than 1% population of each other. So some are bigger geographically, but population-wise, they're all just about dead even. So it's a pretty compact district.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that St. Louis County is actually longitudinally long, not horizontally wide.
Oh yeah.
And the way the districts are, they kind of patch quilt type, I guess you would say, kind of a patch quilt type thing fitting in there, so they fit all the districts in.
Exactly. And like I say, this was the last census. Every 10 years, obviously, they change it. And the district didn't really change too much, or any of the districts really, just a few blocks here and there to meet the population standards or criteria. But yeah, and it's a very diverse district, the 5th. Obviously, like I say, we have on the north, Olivet and New City, and down south Afton, Crestwood, and you have all in between. I live in Richmond Heights. There's Ladue and Clayton and Brentwood and Maplewood and Webster, Shrewsbury, part of Kirkwood, Marlboro, Oakland, Glendale, Marlboro Village, McKenzie Village, Grantwood Village. So Oakland, I think, I don't know, Rock Hill, Brentwood. I don't know if I missed anybody. Maplewood. There's 19, and Washington University is also in there, and that's unincorporated, but a good portion of the campus is in St. Louis County, as Afton's unincorporated. So people assume Afton's a city as much as Blackjack or anywhere else, or say, as Webster would be, but Afton is unincorporated. So
yeah. A lot of people don't realize that there are some places, they're not necessarily cities. Like you say, Afton, Spanish Lake up here is one.
Right.
And there's a bunch of them in far South County. There's a bunch
oh, sure.
of
Majority of
unincorporated.
Of 6th district is unincorporated, majority of it. And yeah, so when you have an unincorporated area, where they're, as you are the mayor, where they're mayor or alderman, what have you, they, where their representation, which we represent the whole 5th district, but if somebody in Maplewood doesn't get their trash picked up, then they call Maplewood, but Afton, they call us because we represent them. So it's very diverse, and I'm very excited to be in the 5th because of the diversity. It's really got a lot going.
Yeah, you actually wear two, as you mentioned, wear 2 hats. In the one case, county-wide, you're the county councilman representing St. Louis County for all the municipalities. You know, you and your other 6 cohorts
Correct.
make laws that affect even municipalities throughout the county.
Oh, without
Then
doubt.
as you're talking about Afton, you are effectively the councilman for that particular city, and you function as a city government down there, which is
Correct.
kind of interesting and probably leads to a lot of, there's state statutes, there's county statutes that are pertaining to first-class counties, and then there's municipal statutes, which you guys have your own county codes, which handle the municipalities. And, if you look at particular our statutes, a lot of times I'll look at county's code, because your code is almost exactly like a city.
Right.
And in fact, a lot of cities copy off your code.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure when we first was incorporated, Blackjack took county's code in its entirety, I'm sure,
Right.
because
Well,
it's an easy way to go at it.
well, without a doubt, and it's, like you say, it's, if Wildwood per se, or even Chesterfield, the airport, Spirit of St. Louis Airport. Now, if there's something going on there that, they require a vote, I mean, it's all of, we represent all of us. We vote for all of St. Louis County, like you said. So, I mean, I don't live in Chesterfield, but we vote on the council for if they need roads or whatever, or anywhere in the county. If they're doing something up here in North County, and, it goes through all of us, the whole county council votes on everything in the 5th or wherever, so
It's a unique perspective in that, you take kind of a municipal look at like Afton, but you have to take a broad look throughout the whole county, because you have, as you say, things going on throughout the county that you have to vote on and have to keep up on whatever those particular functions are, or requests are, or whatever.
Right.
So,
And there's instances where the county will vote on something that doesn't oversee. I mean, municipality still has their own regulations or ordinances or codes that we don't intercede. It's their codes for the county, so a municipality on its own doesn't adhere to everything that we pass.
well, by state statute, there are some things that are in the county code that we have to adhere to, i.e. the health
Oh, sure.
the health
right.
laws and so on. So there are things that county code would trump any municipal code. But in a lot of cases, we may have, for instance, our zoning code, we do not have as many zoning districts as St. Louis County has.
Right.
Because we don't need them. There's likelihood of having light industry in Blackjack is slim and none.
Sure.
So, but county does have it, so you have to have that in your code. So there are some differences.
No, without a doubt.
And, the other thing is that, the other one I know of that, the municipalities and county interact a lot on is courts. There are certain cases, DWIs as an example, go to county court automatically. You cannot prosecute that in a municipality. So there are some things that the legislature has set up that are strictly county. Even if it happens in a municipality, it's handled by St. Louis County.
Right.
And, quite honestly, as you look at that, it's a good thing. I mean, how could a city have their own health department? It would make no sense, and
Well,
it'd be
couldn't
very
afford it.
costly,
Right, you
all of
couldn't
us
afford
trying to
it.
have it.
And when you have a great health department that the county has, I mean, why would you? I mean, and obviously you couldn't afford it on your own, but especially, all the inspections and everything that are part of
Even the
it.
medical people and the equipment that you would have to supply each municipality to have their own health department, it just makes no
Right.
sense. And the other thing that the county does is they actually contract out a lot of their services. Blackjack, for instance, we contract police service. We're actually the first contract city for police service. We've had St. Louis County Police for over 40 years and very happy with the service we get, and we've had excellent results.
Right.
So-
And there's, I think there's talks now and then of a few more municipalities maybe doing that, or some of them go with the neighboring and adjacent municipality, you know, if their smaller community can't afford their own police department, and they'll just, if there's a bigger municipality next to them that possibly can work with them. So they do that also.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk a little bit about you. You say you live in Richmond Heights. Did you grow up in St. Louis?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What? I'll ask you now. I always ask everybody.
I went to CBC.
CBC. Yeah. So you anticipated. Well, I remembered last time.
I could see where you were going with that. And my two sons also went there, so it was great. I grew up right off of Brown Road in Overland, and so back then you could hitchhike to school. And the Interbelt wasn't all the way through, and so I'm showing my age here, but it was very great in the fact that I got to meet a lot of people from all over the area, not just a certain school district. You know, we had people from all over the county, different counties from Illinois, so that was very, very rewarding in that respect, and good education. But so then I went to work. I'm with the sprinkler fitters. I'm a sprinkler fitter, and ended up moving into Richmond Heights. And then later on, my wife's from Richmond Heights. My wife Jean, we were married in '82, so we have two sons, Patrick and Christopher, 26 and 25. So it was a great place to raise a family. You know, I mean, St. Louis County, all over the county, but at Richmond Heights, which I can speak of because that's where we live, and it still is a great community, and all the neighboring communities it's just such a great place to be able to raise a family. So we were blessed with that, and now we're just, one of them still at home when he travels for work, so he's not home very often. I took him to the airport this morning, matter of fact, 6 o'clock this morning. So, but our other son lives nearby, and
well, that's good. Yeah. It's nice when your family lives adjacent or close to you. You know, don't move out of the area.
You see that a lot around St. Louis.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess I notice it because I live here, but it seems even in our neighborhood, the younger families come back, and their kids are going to the same schools and what have you. But it's
well, you know, that's why it's important that you know, have jobs and you keep up with the trends that are going on, or you know, the type of work that's available. And you know, like nobody had thought of computers 30 years ago. Nobody,
right.
You know, a computer. What is a computer?
Oh.
It's something the government uses to do the census or
right.
something. You know, but now everybody's got one. I mean, I've got a cell phone on my hip here that's got more computing power in it than the first computer I ever worked on. It's got more memory even.
Oh,
so
sure.
I mean, you know, it's, as long as you can keep supplying them jobs and keep things going to where people can have jobs, and you know, their kids can have jobs and have current jobs. I mean, you know, there are certain jobs that are being phased out. There are other jobs that are,
Correct.
You know, and on the cutting edge of technology. And years from now, who knows? That's why that kind of, everybody's trying to do the plant science and the biology stuff and so on.
Sure, biotech.
Biotech.
And St. Louis County offers, I mean, obviously with now with the Joint Economic Council, it's, there's so many opportunities that weren't there. And I, like I say, I'm in the construction industry, and things have been slow, but it's starting to pick back up. But speaking of the countywide, that was one advantage of working in construction. I had the privilege of working up here in Blackjack, North County, South County, West County, other counties, Illinois, but all of St. Louis County throughout the years. And when you're on a lot of these jobs, you're there for a period of time, so you get a feel for different communities where you're working. So that was helpful in getting spread out through all of the county, understanding how different areas have different ways about how they go about things. So it's always been interesting to be able to get all around the county and the whole metropolitan area. But as far as the jobs, it's obviously with new things coming in, Express Scripts and McDonald's and Mallinckrodt's and hopefully with Boeing, we can cross our fingers and get some of that. So it'd be a big boost for St. Louis County. And when you lose car plants, that's a lot of people lose jobs. So hopefully we can replace all that.
You know, what a lot of people don't really realize is that, you know, a company comes in and they may provide 2,000 jobs, okay? But the additional jobs that are created by the different services that are required and other materials and equipment
Right.
that's made, manufactured, that goes into whatever that final product is, could be thousands and thousands and thousands more
Oh,
jobs.
Without a doubt.
And
You know, and then just, I mean, that's exactly right. And then with that, when you're going to work at a certain place, you're going to stop at this gas station, or you're going to eat at this restaurant, or you're going to spend money in those communities. So that's why it's important to have these jobs and good quality paying jobs, so people can, as we all know, once they're making money, they can spend it. So it's looking up. I mean, it was so slow for a while there, but it's encouraging. I know in 5th District there's a few things going on. Obviously, we always say Warshu has things going on, and there's a couple developments going on along Hanley Road, and so it's hopefully things will pick up.
yeah, it's beginning. The economy is, I can tell by the sales tax we receive and so on. The economy is picking up a little bit, and municipalities usually lag a recovery by about 2 years. So we're starting to increase sales tax now. So
Right.
hopefully it'll continue in the future. You mentioned you are a sprinkler fitter. Kind of explain what that is and what they do. Some
Okay.
people may not know what a sprinkler
Well,
fitter is.
well, obviously a lot of people don't. All right, we're brother locals with pipe fitters and plumbers. So people think, well, you're a pipe fitter. Well, we're not. Sprinkler fitters install, design, maintain, service fire protection sprinkler systems. We don't do lawn sprinklers, just fire protection sprinkler systems. And more you're seeing, you know, some residential, but more commercial and nursing homes and, you know, dorms or what have you, that some that didn't have it are now, through laws, are going to be mandated to put sprinkler systems in. But basically, it's, you know, it's just fire protection sprinklers and any facet of the fire protection industry. So that's a great livelihood. I mean, we've been blessed to be able to send our kids to good schools and have a home and insurance. So I'm very thankful.
As long as you can make a living, that's a good thing.
Well, yes, it is. And unfortunately, in the last few years, even we're a smaller local or group of workers, so we don't usually have unemployment issues, but in the last 3 years, it's really been worse than we've ever seen. So hopefully it's starting to pick back up, because, you know, it's a great industry, and, you know, I've been fortunate to be part of it.
Is most of the things that is going on now, is it new construction or is it replacement, or is it a combination of
Well,
both?
it's, you know, combination. Obviously, you hope for more new construction, but there's some they call retrofit buildings that are older buildings, and when they update them, and a new owner or whatever, they're not grandfathered anymore, so then the codes come into play where you have to provide fire protection. And, you know, say in the lofts downtown or somewhere that didn't have old warehouses or something, and they make them into lofts, and if there is a sprinkler system, they have to be updated and brought up to code, or if there isn't one, then they have to, you know, put in a new system. And like I mentioned before, a lot of these dorms didn't even have. It's kind of scary when you send your kid to school and they're on the 18th floor of a building. There's no fire protection. So thankfully, that's all been taken into consideration, and all the places they pretty much need them, but hopefully are getting fire protection. So.
Good. Okay, let's talk a little bit about St. Louis County Council. How long have you been on the county council?
I'm going into my 4th year, so this will be the last year of this term, and looking forward to that, and hopefully more. I enjoy it a lot. You know, hopefully I can stay on and represent the 5th District. You know, it's gone quick. There's been a lot going on in the last 3 years, and there's a lot going on right now, but you know, it's very satisfying. I mean, we've been able to help a few people that, if we weren't there, they wouldn't have been able to get the help. So that makes it worthwhile right there. You know, it's sounds kind of corny, but it's a fact. As you know, any public service, if you're able to help somebody out, and that's what you do it for. But and learn a lot. I've a lot more to learn, obviously, but I've learned a lot of things about the county and how it operates that people just, well, that I took for granted. Shouldn't speak for anybody else, but the things that I took for granted now I know more about. So it's very enlightening in that respect, and like I say, plenty more to learn. There's no doubt about that. But and meet a lot of people. You know that's the beauty of even campaigning years ago, and throughout the years, just knocking on doors. You know, old-fashioned campaigning, but you really actually get to meet people. Otherwise, I never would have met, even if that's the last. And I've seen people 3 years later that said, "I remember you came by the house." And I said, "Yeah," and then I'd actually say, "Oh yeah, you lived on this corner." You know, it's so it's you know, I'm very grateful that I've had this much time. Hopefully, I can continue on.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that a lot of people don't realize is the education that you get. You know, as you look upon government, you think you know everything about government, but you find out once you start doing it, you really don't know a lot at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a perfect
from my
example of
perspective,
that.
I'm a perfect
You got
example
the right
of that
guy
too.
for that example, that's for sure.
I mean, you're constantly in a learning mode because you're not working on the same thing all the time.
Correct.
Plus, the code always changes. They always change things at the state level that affect us. That, you know, something we did last year because we knew all about how to do this, and we did. This year, you can't do it that way because something changed.
Right. And I'm very fortunate to have, and I'll say his name, Eric Fay is my assistant. Every council member has an assistant, as you know, and because, and I'm not on the county council for pay, obviously, if everybody knew what we got paid, so it's not a full-time job. Although the time you spend could be considered full-time, but you do have to work. And we have a full-time assistant, and I'm fortunate to have a very bright and polite young man, Eric Fay, who is very knowledgeable and is willing to learn. He reads everything, so it makes it easier for me having that help. And all the assistants, everybody on the council is very fortunate to have the help they have, because we have a great group of assistants who, I should say I'm his assistant because he does the bulk of the work. I just show up and try to speak for it. But no, it's without them, it'd have to be a full-time. You couldn't do it on.
Yeah, well, as we were talking about earlier, since you wear two hats, it makes it doubly difficult. Like
sure.
what I do, it's difficult, but it's not anything to the extent that you have to do because you're actually wearing two hats. Right. Is this a municipal issue, or is this a county issue?
Right.
How can we coordinate this issue with the municipality if it's a municipal issue?
Right.
And there's a lot of that coordination that goes on that people really don't know behind the scenes. They think when they call in, hey, I live in a county, it's a county issue. Well, it may not be. It may be a federal issue. And, these various assistants run this down and either direct the people to where they got to go or get the issue solved. So,
right, we try.
That's a really good thing on their part, and they do a good job.
They all do, and like you
an
say,
excellent job.
And some of it, if it's a state level, we have. There again, I don't want to start naming all the state reps in the district because I might miss some. There's quite a few, as we talked about earlier. Our council districts are big, so there's numerous senator districts and state rep districts. So if it's something that's above what the county can do for them, we'll talk to the state rep or their assistants and help whoever's calling us. We'll help them out in that regard. Or if it even went to a national level, the federal level, we'll contact their congressman or whoever if we need to. But the assistants handle the bulk of that, and we pride ourselves as best we can. I'm sure we've missed somebody, but we try to make sure we return every call and every email and every letter that's sent to us. I mean, the people deserve that. I mean, that's what we're there for. So and we try to be prompt with it, with our response. So, and we don't always have the right answer or a answer, but we'll find out as best we can what the answer they need or who will have the answer. So.
Yeah, well, the most important thing is the relationships that you build up with these senators, representatives, both on the state and federal level. You know, that relationship goes a long way to solving problems. If they know you and they've worked with you before, they will, you know, they will help you.
Doubt. Right.
And you know, it is, it's like you're looking for a job. If you know somebody that's in the company you want to go to, you know, you want to get the job in, it's a lot better to have them work with you to get that job. It's the same way with these representatives. I mean, that's the experience I've had. As long as if you know them, you get a lot quicker response, and they spend a lot more time with it.
Right, and we've been able. There's quite a few times where they rely on us. I mean, they'll call us, say, "Hey, this is a certain part of your district where there's an issue. Can you help out?" So it goes both ways, and we've been able to help out a few times with different state reps who had concerns, and so it has to be a collaboration of everything, the municipalities, state and county level, all together. I mean, on their own, it's hard for anybody to do, as you know. I mean, and would love to see more, and there's quite a bit in the 5th District, I can speak for, collaboration between the municipalities on certain levels. So I mean, the municipalities are there, that's not changing anytime soon, so you have to deal with it as it is. I mean, a lot of people would rather there weren't so many municipalities, but the fact of the matter is there are, and you make it the best of the situation as it is. And the 5th, they do a pretty good job of working together.
Yeah, well, we try. We try to work together, and it's you know, it's a collaborative effort. Well, as we begin to wrap up here, I was at an event actually the night before Thanksgiving, Guns and Hoses,
Right.
and seen you introduced to the audience, and I didn't know you were on the board.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's very rewarding to be able to be of very minimal service. I'm on the committee with the Guns and Hoses committee, but Steve Holly and Jack Martorelli, who run in Merle Taylor and Jerry Clinton started that years ago, and obviously all the money raised goes to Backstoppers. So I'm a member of Backstoppers and somewhat involved in the Backstoppers, and Guns and Hoses was just a way for me to be of some service. I don't do a lot. I try to help out, but it's such a great cause, and hopefully this year they'll raise a lot of money and nobody will need it. That's the goal, is to keep raising the money and not have to give it out to anybody, because you know the requirements to get it are drastic and terrible things. So it's the money goes to the fallen police, fire, or emergency responders who lost their lives in the line of duty. So it's a good cause, and it's a great event. As you know, if you were there, it's getting bigger and better every year. So it's a good fundraiser, and I'm just thankful that they allow me to be on the committee with them. It's a good time. Besides raising money, it's a good group of men and women.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Norm.
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
We'll have you back again.
All right.
Thank you for watching our show this evening. If you have any questions, you can contact me at www.cityofblackjack.com, or you can call me at area code 314-355-0400. Thank you for watching. Good evening.